So, I guess if we have that forgiveness door open, how would you say if someone has? Because even after that MDMA session, over the next year or so, I started distancing myself from certain friendships because I could start connecting with how some of those relationships made me feel, the dynamics between them, even if they had been friends for a while. My perspective on their, I don't say utility because but their purpose in my life had changed, and my connection to them. And so, how would you recommend someone who wants to go, let's say, a forgiveness route of someone that used to be in their life that's no longer in their life, and but they still have anger or even or rage in, for example? Like, is it as easy as saying like out loud, "You hurt me," or like how would you go
Hmm.
about that?
Two things here. This is huge to explore because a lot of people think like, oh, if I need to block these toxic people out of my life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if we're still holding on to an anger or resentment or disgust towards them, that's we're holding on to that, and that's
Totally.
poison. And so it's good that you notice these things. Forgiveness, and this is profound when I realize this. Forgiveness has nothing to do with right or wrong. Forgiveness has nothing to do with what the other person did. Nothing at all. Forgiveness is about forgiving our judgment of what happened. Meaning, we have a perspective, they have a perspective. It's like it's like all of us pointing a telescope at the same object from different angles. We're all seeing the same tree or the same whatever we're fixating on, but we're seeing it from different perspectives. So we're incomplete in the perspective of the tree or whatever we're looking at. They have a piece of it, I have a piece of it. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. It's just perspective. So when you forgive someone, again, you are taking ownership of the stuff you're holding on to and forgiving your judgment of what happened. Again, leaving right or wrong out of it. Because if you can see the other person's perspective, judgment
Right.
free, you crack your heart and your mind open and you start seeing more and more perspectives. That's the goal. And so with other people in my life that I disagreed with or resented or whatever, I went at that too. And the thing is, you don't need to physically apologize or give a note or anything like that. You can if you want, but you have to identify what are you attached to. You have to fully feel that emotion, and you have to know how to let that go and make peace with it, so that you don't hold and harbor that resentment or whatever
What
inside
do
of you.
you mean you have to know how to let that go? That's what I'm coming to you for.
Yeah, yeah.
So like if someone can identify what's a typical thing. I don't know, either a former relationship or a former friend, or
Mhm.
mm, a falling out, a estranged parent-child sort of situation. If there's these resentments that are so strong over time,
Mhm.
how do you know how to let something go? Because you can even traditional therapy will give you empathy for the person and see it from their perspective and try to understand them, etc., etc. And that's proven to work. And I've had it work in my life. Friends have said it's helped for them to understand people that have aggrieved them. But I'm trying to get at more. What is the mechanism to
Mhm.
release the valve that has that trapped emotion of resentment that no longer serves us?
Yeah. Well, that's feeling the emotion fully. So when you think of this person, can you sit in that discomfort of that emotion? Because the process of releasing an emotion has, we all try to mentally do it, like understand it, and that gets in the way. Your mind will completely get in the way of this process because it's a heart process.
Right.
That's the first thing I had is all this understanding mentally of the person and compassion and gratitude, whatever. Like it's good to understand, but it gets in the way. So when you think of a person and you sit with it, can you sit in that discomfort and just feel that emotion? Like just keep bringing your attention to that feeling and relax to let it, because you're allowing the stuff to come up and just work through you, process. And that,
Right.
if you're a left brain person like I was, it's hard to do initially because you're trained to like, oh, am I doing this right? What do I do next? Like, do. So, number one, could you just feel the emotion? The second thing that, again, this is like I don't want people to get too mental here, but when you have resentment or anger, most likely you're holding on to being right. I'm right, they're wrong.
Sure.
That was a big one for me. I had to be right, and even subtly. We're conditioned to like feel righteous,
Right.
or this is unfair. If you're holding on to fairness or righteousness, you're holding on to that. And so just understanding that can help you let it go. Meaning I'm holding on to being right. Can I let go of the need to be right? Let them believe what they want to believe, what happened, but just feel that emotion. And can I put myself in their shoes? This is who highly discomfort. While you're sitting in that emotion, thinking of this person, can you imagine being in that person's shoes? Like literally looking down and seeing their shoes, seeing their calendar, seeing their life, thinking about maybe why they, how they grew up. Can you do that? Because when you do that from your heart, not from your head, and try to understand this person from a non-judgmental view, from a curious view, you'll start to understand what happened from a different perspective, and you'll be able to release that.